Okay, we're back with lisaLeath, president of Leath HR Group. And Lisa has a few tips today for us on the top 5 interview questions and interview situations. So the floor is yours, Miss Lisa.
Okay, hi. Thanks for having me again. I think some of the questions that I get asked by friends and family that are in the job market are, hey, will you prep for an interview with me? And of course, I love that. All HR people are totally into like scenarios and role playing things out. So I thought what might be helpful is just to go through some of my favorite questions to ask, especially like on a phone screen, so that people can practice at home and not be, caught off guard or catch themselves rambling on an interview. And so the one thing I would just say is, as you do prepare for interviews, try to be as succinct as possible and, get as much bang for the buck as you can with every sentence. And don't be afraid to brag about yourself, because this is your opportunity to talk about your achievements and how great you are, because you want to get to that next step in the interview process. So as somebody that, interviews probably thousands of people every year, I thought I could just talk to you a little bit about what I look for in a great team player. And, so much of what I preach to my clients is about not just looking for specific skills or experiences, but about, a great mindset and good behaviors that will, support your values and your mission at your organization. And so, of course, I want to know, did somebody do research on the company or the organization? Tell me what you know about X, Y, Z, the Wilmington Sharks. And if they're like, well, I don't know a lot, so if you could just share with me, in my mind, that's like, I'm going to spend, not a lot of time with you, and you're going to the bottom of my list unless you really knock my socks off. So make sure you do your research before you have a phone screen, even if it is with a lowly HR person like myself, and it's not the CEO or whatever. You really need to be on your game and do the research. So go find out what you can, and show them that you have done your research and your homework. Then I like to ask a little bit about just size and scope of role. They don't need to recount all of their resume, but tell me why your roles were impressive. I worked for the #1 team in the Northeast because of X. I worked for, industry expert, drop the name. I was trained by, whoever. This is your chance to really wow the person on the other end of the phone with jobs and size and scope and budgets off the bat. I like to talk about people's humility a little bit. So if I ask people, I like to make them answer from somebody else's perspective. So if I was to ask, your colleagues about your level of humility or your level of accountability, or what are your top couple of assets, or what are you bringing to the team? If I was to ask your colleagues or your boss this, what would they say? And so having somebody answer on behalf of another person often makes them a lot more honest, and past behavior predicts future behavior. So I'm taking notes on what they say on somebody else's behalf. I love to ask how people maintain effective working relationships with their coworkers, because so much of what we do these days, we're all required to wear, a million different hats, and so relying on one another and not being stuck in your silo and, well, that's not my job. Nobody's down with that anymore. So everybody's got to be a team player. So I'm looking for people to talk to me a little bit about how they grow and foster relationships with their coworkers in an appropriate and professional way. I'm an HR person, so I'm big on goals and SMART goals and alignment with the organization's mission. And so I like to ask candidates, how do you ensure that you're meeting expectations? And so, if people answer, well, my boss doesn't really give us goals, and so I just know I'm doing a good job if they, say hello to me when they walk by my office in the morning. I'm looking for something a little bit more concrete than that. I'm looking for people to own their own career and be setting their own goals without their boss. And so, of course, I'm looking for an answer about goals and metric setting with that question. I also ask people if they've ever made improvements to the way that their job is done. So, the only thing constant is change. And so I love to ask, what have you done to help, advance the organization and your department? What prompted the changes and how do you measure those results? And then one of the other things I like to ask is, how do you keep up with trends? So if you're a salesperson, how are you, continuing to develop your sales tactics or your approach, or you're, talking to your audience? If you're a marketing person, how are you keeping up with the new technology? And, I'm looking for people to tell me about associations they're involved with, professional associations, or I do a lot of reading. I know, Allison, you do a lot of reading. But just some answer to let me know that they're invested in their own professional growth and they're going to grow with me. And then the final question I always leave people with that stumps 9 out of 10 people is, what else should I know about you? And this is your time to really kind of like hit them with a brick and, use all your adjectives and all your examples. I'm going to go back to that. If you've ever done a self-assessment, like a DISC, like a Myers-Briggs, like a Forte, go ahead and pull that out and use all those adjectives that perfectly describe you. Whether it's, I'm extremely competitive, you're going for a sales job, I'm extremely competitive, I'm motivated by commission, it's never enough for me. That's the kind of people you want to describe, the hunger that you have for the position that you're applying for, and then leave them with the statement on why you're the best candidate. I am perfect for this job because, lay it on out there. So, you don't need to tell people everything about your personal life. I got divorced, 3 times. Now I'm like back in the market. No. I'm looking for a professional. What else should I know about you? But that's, there's 100 other questions out there. Definitely go on, Glassdoor's got a lot of good resources as far as practicing for interview questions. Indeed has a lot of good resources. Even I'm sure there's LinkedIn groups that can help prep you for interviews. And you can get on a Zoom meeting by yourself too, and watch yourself and record yourself for practice, or grab a friend and practice with them. So I hope this helps.
Very much. Those are great. And I will put a couple of those links in there too that you were talking about, the Glassdoor interview questions and so forth. So again, Lisa, thank you so much. You're an unbelievable wealth of knowledge and we really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.